Let's compare a market-based investment such as our variable annuity, 401k, or IRA for example, and an indexed annuity. In the indexed annuity, we're only going to assume that 50% of the market gain is captured, since indexed annuities have caps associated with it. The 5-year period we're going to use is September 30th, 1998 to September 30th, 2003. We are going to assume a $100,000 deposit into each one of our products. Now on September 30th, 1998, the S&P 500 closed at 1,017. In the following 2 years, ending September 30th, 2000, the S&P was up 26%, followed by 12%. With a typical compounding rate, your market-based investment would have ended the 2-year period with a value of $141,120. The same 2-year period in our indexed annuity, now remember only 50% of those gains are captured, at 13 and 6% with a little compounding interest would have only earned $119,870. I know it doesn't sound appealing to capture only half of the market returns in an up market, but let's take a closer look. In policy years 3 and 4, the market is down 28% in policy year 3. If you take 28% of $141,120 of the market-based product, you then have a value of $101,606. Notice that the indexed annuity didn't change. We took the negative 28% and threw it out and turned it into a zero and preserved or ratcheted the $119,870. Policy year 4, in addition, lost 22% in the market-based product. That takes our $101,606 even further down to $79,252, but again you'll notice a negative 22% loss is thrown out and turned into a zero. Let's take a look at year 5. The S&P 500 was actually up 22%. Now that 22% increase was preceded by a 22% decrease in the market. So what do a lot of people think? Well, 101,606 minus 22% plus 22% must give me back to my original $101,606. I think many of you know that's not true. If you subtract 22% off of 101,606, you are left with a policy value of $79,252. 22% now credited to the $79,252 only gets your market-based product back to an ending value of $96,688, whereas half, or 11%, credited to our $119,870 in the indexed annuity gets us to an ending value of $132,955. The real beauty of this type of investment or any annual ratchet, annual reset index annuity is this. Not only did we take the down years, the negative 28 and the negative 22, throw them out and turn them into zeros, and preserve what we had captured in the previous years, you were able to start one policy year at the low ending point of the previous year. How do we illustrate that? Let's take a look at end of year 4 where the S&P closed at 815. That becomes the new starting point of year 5, and all we have to do in year 5 is to exceed 815 to realize the gains. Now we did that at the end of year 5 with a closing value of 995 of the S&P 500. What's significant about that point is notice the original starting point of our policy, 1017. Notice the high water mark at the end of year 2, 1436. You'll see that 995 is not back to that original starting point. It is nowhere near the high point of year 2. Yet in the 5th policy year, we've added another gain for a policy holder. Now the question I have for you is this. Are you getting gains below the lines? Are you capturing gains below the lines? In an indexed annuity, you are.